And we're live.
And we're off.
And I think we have sound.
Yeah.
I think so. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, so the bars.
Yep. Got to
We're
do
good.
a function check.
Yes.
Function test. Yeah. Here we are.
Here we are.
Survived another week.
Indeed.
So I am Jonathan.
Nick.
We are the Gosslings. And this is our weekly live stream where we talk about writing. We talk about anything that comes up in our frayed, ADHD-riddled artistic brains.
Often has to do with conspiracy theories. Can I say that live?
Yeah.
Is that still
it's not verboten yet, but just
it
wait.
will be. It will be. Yeah. Sometimes we dip into politics.
Yep.
Sometimes we just dip into the nature of man and how awful human beings are.
Yeah, dip our toes into the river Styx that is life, and just wave at the ferryman as he rows on by, So, and anything else we can get away with talking about without getting booted from social media.
And our books.
And
we talk about our books.
We talk about writing.
Writing in general.
Yeah. And then often that will segue into us revealing some sort of embarrassing childhood story.
Yeah. Usually.
I got some great pictures. I meant to bring them over next week. I have some awesome pictures of the Gosslings.
We got to share those.
Ages gone past.
Yes. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm nervous.
Oh, yeah. As well.
Oh, that helps.
As well, you should be. Yeah. Although I will say, I was the
very eccentric of the four boys. I was the most eccentric.
Well, you weren't the one at 10 years old wearing a Union, federal, Union Civil War cap to school in the South, because Joshua Chamberlain was so cool in Gettysburg.
I don't know. Because when I was 12, I saw Dances with Wolves, and I wanted to be a Native American. And ran around with this color. Yep. And war paint and the whole thing. 12 years old, they're like,
Yep. But we were doing war paint before that when we were in our commando phase.
Yeah, we were in our commando phase.
That
was back during
Clear and Present Danger.
Clear and Present Danger.
Great movie, by the way.
So good.
If you've never seen Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford and Willem Dafoe, man, you have got to check that out, man. Yeah.
Oh, Taco Swag is back.
Taco Swag, dude.
Look who's back.
Taco Swag, you're speaking my language, baby. I don't know what kind of tacos, but I'll try them. Yeah, I want some free tacos.
Still haven't heard from you on the swag stuff.
You got patches, you got shirts, you got tacos.
You got it all.
Yeah, I mean,
you got it all.
Is there a website I am clearly such a fat kid at heart and out of heart.
Yeah.
That anytime someone's like, you want some tacos? I'm like, yeah, I want some tacos. Yeah.
Let's see.
So, yeah.
Want some free tacos? Yes, I do.
Yes, we do.
Yes, I do want some free tacos.
Nick sprang for the special version or the pay to play version of Restream. Yeah. And it has upped our game to something more than just us, recording from what is effectively a potato, between his nice Canon camera and the Restream thing. We actually, So big shout out to Nick, and big thanks to Nick Goss for footing the bill on that. I owe him a couple Mexican dinners for that at least.
On that.
Yeah. So Taco Swag, you better make with the tacos while I got money to spend on us. Because we'll do it. Yeah. Well, what's your favorite kind of taco?
Me, I like Korean tacos. I know that's not
Korean tacos.
Yeah,
really
good. Yeah, they do a little cabbage and a sweet, spicy sriracha over, usually beef. Yeah, it's really good.
Good. Yeah, that does sound good.
Yeah, I like Korean tacos, but I like any kind of taco. I like any taco that does not have a hard, crunchy shell. I don't like hard, crunchy shells.
You don't like crunchy tacos?
No. No.
I love crunchy tacos because they're dangerous.
I like.
They could just stab you in a moment. It's like eating a scorpion. Any second. They could.
You got to hold it at the right part.
Yeah, you got to hold it at the right part.
The crunchy tacos spill all over me. You bite it.
Yeah.
It shatters, and then the lettuce, the cheap iceberg lettuce, just goes everywhere.
The empty calorie.
Forget that.
Yeah.
Forget that.
Oh, that's definitely more efficient. I mean, I guess I'm a barbarian. I just figure it's all going to be a mess anyways. It's going to be a mess in my belly. So why? And then it becomes a game. Then it's like my food is now a game that we play of like, don't drop the,
Yeah, if you absolutely, it's a game. You start eating a hard shell taco, it starts vertically.
Yeah.
But halfway through, you're horizontal, holding it together like a sandwich.
Yeah.
Like a cracker sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mexicracker sandwich.
A Mexicracker. Yeah. Yeah. We'll probably get booted for that too.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well, it's Mexican food.
It is.
It's supposed to be. I don't know. I don't understand.
And the irony is we go to the Mexican restaurant every night after we're done with this. In fact, it's often that and Nick's tiny little squirrel bladder are the two motivating factors. It's true. My Gordo tummy and his tiny little bladder are the two things that motivate us to end this more than anything.
Yeah. And
then we go to the Mexican restaurant, and then I never order tacos. I always order fajitas.
True. We're creatures of habit.
Oh, dude. Okay. So that's a big thing that I actually do want to mention. I was thinking about this this past week. That like Nick and I are very different people, but we complement each other very well. And I think we always have.
Yep.
In that like with the typewriter, I finally watched California Typewriter.
Oh, okay, good. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
And it was
awesome.
Really cool. It's every bit as cool as Nick told me it was.
Awesome. Good. I hate to overhype things.
He didn't oversell it at all. California Typewriter is awesome. It's free on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, and every one of you do, you should totally watch California Typewriter. But like, I got to thinking about it, and it's like, you know what? Like, I've had my Royal Quiet Deluxe for the better part of 20 years.
It's amazing.
Because it was my grandmother's.
Yeah.
Right. And I would like fiddle fart around on that thing while watching old episodes of Kolchak the Night Stalker, in my single bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And shopping for a powder blue seersucker suit, and just really nerding it up, But then I never thought to do anything with it until I think maybe right before or right after we started doing the live stream was when Nick mentioned, like, why don't we like start using these? It'd be cool if we, started typing on these.
Yeah.
Nick is the trailblazer. Nick is like, the one who it's like, I have this
and
stuff.
I hate technology. So.
Right. We both are Luddites. So like, it's great. I have the technology or I have the stuff but I'm just like sitting like a miser in his cave. I'm just sitting on it, just be like, oh, got my cool stuff, And then Nick comes along. He's like, why don't we do something with this? Because it's just sitting here, And it works really well.
Yeah. It's and then he bought me one.
Yeah,
he bought me one. Was it a birthday or Christmas? It was a birthday gift, right?
It was a birthday gift. Yeah.
And it's off. That's the one you see there before you.
Was it this one or was this one I bought Eva May?
That's the one you got me.
That's the one I got you.
Yep. That one's slightly different because it has the little wingtips around the ribbon reverse.
Yeah, okay.
And the ink, the different color ink.
Yeah.
Theirs has a push button right here to open the lid.
Oh, okay.
And I think that means that mine is a 1953.
Yeah.
And theirs is like a 1954.
No way.
Yeah.
They're that close together.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I don't know for certain because I have to, I'd have to look up the serial numbers, which I have not gone that deep down the rabbit hole yet.
Well, that's a whole other.
I'm glad you saw California Typewriter. That's such a great documentary.
It is.
It
it's
made
really
me
neat.
love my typewriter. I'm like, I can't believe, and I already have one of these.
You have
this
one.
is amazing.
And you've been using it,
and it works beautifully.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. There's a guy in Nashville called Nashville Typewriter who I've been talking to on Instagram for a while, and he kind of is like our version of California Typewriter. It's his obsession. It's his business. And so we're gonna send our typewriters off to him probably in the next few weeks. He's building out his shop right now, so he's been pretty busy, but which is good. It's good for us, because you really do wonder. You get worried, like at some point, what happens if like they stop making ribbons?
Yeah,
yeah. It's that's like the ammo of the typewriter.
Yeah,
So like if they stop making ribbons, what happens then?
Oh my gosh, leave it to Google. Leave it to the big tech companies to be like, that's it. No, Jeff Bezos. That's it.
Jeff Bezos, yeah.
You can't buy ribbon on Amazon anymore. It's over.
No more. Well, they kind of did that with film. Back in like the late 2000s, I had an old 1972 Nikon F2 Photomic, little 35 millimeter manual SLR camera, purely mechanical.
I remember it. You took some great pictures with it.
I took a lot of crap pictures, but I had some good ones.
I had some good ones.
You know,
the ones you did in black and white, of course, the one with Dad.
Yeah, there were
some great pictures of our dad. Oh,
I still remember that photo shoot out on the deck. Yeah, that was really neat.
Fantastic.
And so, but I would always use Ilford true black and white film. So like you can get the regular black and white film, which is just color film that's been decolorized. In most places like Walgreens, will process that. But if you want true black and white, which gives it this really sharp chromatic look to it, it's very distinctive. You can really tell the difference if you set an Ilford black and white picture. And I'm not a photographer by any stretch. I know next to nothing about this, but you can tell, even my layman eyes could tell the difference if you set a true black and white Ilford next to some whatever film is mass produced that's just decolorized. And so I would always use Ilford true black and white. Well, after after Wolf Camera went out of business.
Wolf Camera was a local.
Yeah, local camera shop.
Yeah, local camera shop.
And they were a franchise. They had multiple locations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, they may have been national, but I know they were in the Southeast. Okay. And but after they folded up in like 2010, 2011, there was no one. And to this day, like I think there's maybe a place in Texas that you could send film to, true black and white film, to have it processed.
That's crazy.
But it's much like, that sword of Damocles that seems to hang over the typewriter. That sword fell on the true black and white manual SLR market. And, it's a real shame. I mean, the cool thing is there's probably some hipster out there who's going to, develop true black and white film. And that'll be like the one redeeming quality of hipsters.
Yeah.
That you can find somebody to do that. But
yeah, I got a hand to it. I mean, at least they have a hand in keeping the typewriter alive.
Yeah.
To some degree. Yeah. And it's Renaissance, however long it lasts.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in that documentary helped.
Thank you, hipsters. I can't believe I just said that.
I know, right? I mean, I literally have a sticker that a friend got for me one time that said "kill all hipsters" on it. So like that's the level of my antipathy towards hipsters. But even I have to tip my hat to them for.
We have to. I think they got bored with beers. Bored with IPAs, and they're like, "What else can we?
What else is there?" Yeah. And you know what? I'll take it, man.
They went into beard oil.
Yeah.
And now they're on typewriters, which is great. I'm all in on the typewriters.
Yeah. Eventually those stars will align, and they will prove their use in the apocalypse.
Dude, Nashville typewriter. We should interview that guy.
Nashville typewriter. That'd be cool to have him on. Yeah. Yeah. I reached out to the creepy little book guy, Pete. I'd like to have him on too. So we're talking about that.
Yeah.
But it'd be really
cool.
Neat. Yeah. Cause he does a live stream. Pete is this guy who has a YouTube channel called Creepy Little Book. I've mentioned him before, and he covers a range of esoterica. And I think he's up in Philly. He's a Yankee, so try not to hold that against him. But he does a live stream every night for like an hour.
Wow.
11 p.m., midnight, something like that. And he covers everything cool that you could possibly imagine. I mean, Nephilim, fallen angels, Tower of Babel, dogmen, seances, Aleister Crowley. It's everything that you could possibly think of, and a ton of stuff that you've never heard of.
Okay.
So Creepy Little Book is a lot of fun, and he's really good about responding to the chats. Like I chat a lot, in there, and he'll read your questions, and it's really neat. So
cool.
It's a cool channel. Anyway,
it'd be cool to have him on.
Yeah.
Well, you want to go on to
let's
our toast? You want to do our toast?
Go ahead and do the toast. 15 minutes in.
Okay. Not bad.
So, all right. So every episode we do a toast. You're welcome to do it with us. It's sort of the mantra that we came up with for the Gosslings. Very logos driven, very traditional legacy kind of driven.
Yep.
And we drink bourbon typically. I think we're doing
Bullet.
Yep. We're doing Bullet in our Nick's awesome skull decanter, the Jim decanter.
This is the
decanter to Jim.
Decanter to Jim. And
he has amazing taste.
He does. This was a gift from my buddy Jim, birthday gift.
So.
And it is amazing. You can see we've drained this thing below the skull. That's how it's time to
it's
go.
It's time to refill.
More.
Yeah.
And all right.
So if you're watching us, take up your glass, and we'll do the toast along. It's a bit liturgical. Like one of us starts, and then everybody else repeats. So you're welcome, if you know it, to repeat the second half.
Yep.
And you want to go first?
Actually, I went first last time.
Oh, you went first last time? Okay. All right, I'll go first. Take up the broken sword of your father.
And strike down the darkness.
Amen. Oh, yeah. It's like gasoline for my soul.
Ooh, I'm ready.
Now I'm ready. Let's do it.
Just kind of give a nice little quick back and neck massage to those inhibitions. Just kind of get them loosened up a little bit.
I like to think of it as
talk about all the things
as a couple of jumper cables right to my sides, just Frankenstein's monster style. Just like, okay, now I'm off. Now we're good.
Hey, maybe one of these times we can do some Lagavulin.
Yeah, I gotta get some Lagavulin.
Scotch over. Of course, that's a lot more expensive. We can just do little shot glasses if you want. But
no. You're gonna do it. We gotta do it, man. Lagavulin's awesome,
man.
Bullet's good too.
Yeah.
I've been surprised by
like it. It is probably the best for the money for sure. I think out there.
Yeah, and there's some great ones. Blanton's is really good.
Oh yeah.
Michter's.
Yep.
Michter's is really good.
Yep.
I'm not a huge bourbon guy. I'm more of a Scotch guy.
Yep.
Which I wish Jason were here because he always makes fun of me and calls it bog water. I don't want to drink that bog water for. Well,
don't they use like peat to distill it?
Yeah.
But still,
here's how.
But still, it's,
I want to tell a story about a quick anecdote about how awesome and like sterling silver of a soul Jason is.
Okay.
And also how much he hates Scotch. So like after they moved into their new house and they had their baby and everything, I can't remember what we were talking about, but Jason and I used to work together, and I can't remember how we were discussing it, but we got to the point where I think he had a garden hose that he didn't need anymore, and I think ours got like ran over by the mower or I don't know what, but anyways, he was giving me this garden hose and he was just going to throw away. Like 30-foot, heavy duty. So I went over there and I was like, hey man, I know you don't care a whole lot, but like, I got to give you something. How about I just like, can I give you copies of my books? It's just like something, because you want that like equitable exchange kind of thing, And so he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. He didn't care. They're probably going to sit on a shelf or I told him like, you can use them as targets or toilet paper if you want, They make great fire starting material. But I bring it over there and then on top of the garden hose, I help him wind up the garden hose, and he's like, "Oh, hang on 1 second." And Jason's like 8 feet tall. He's like Sasquatch.
One of those. Okay.
Yeah, he's awesome.
All right.
And he's definitely got some Nephilim in his DNA somewhere.
Nephilim DNA.
Yeah. And Jason comes back out holding like 3 or 4 bottles of Scotch.
Okay.
And he's like, "Here, man, I'm sick of this crap. Take it." I don't want it. He says he holds on to a bottle of Scotch for his friends when they're at the house, but he never touches it. He's like, I hate that bog water. And Jason's like a purist, man. He gets on there and he like, he has like his ice purifier. He's like one step away from being a mixologist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He would be like the manliest mixologist in the world, because they're all like, fruity little bow tie, fancy pants and lollipops.
Interesting.
But yeah, like Jason is like, he's so hardcore about his hatred of Scotch and he's such a kind, generous dude that he like loaded me down with like 4 bottles of Scotch.
Man, fantastic.
Oh, it's awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that stuff got me through probably the second half of 2020. So thank you, Jason.
And I got to share some of that too with him. So thank you, Jason. Appreciate you, bro.
So,
it's awesome.
But anyways, let's see. I think that's it for the toast.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's next? Weekend review.
Do our weekend review.
Yeah. Let's see. What have you been working on this past week since our last talk?
Let's see. I was telling Nick earlier. So Adam, this is really for you too, if you're watching. I finally got stuck in on editing and really dug in on editing Wayfarers. I'm literally at the halfway point. I'm at page 256 of 500 pages.
Okay.
So I'm literally halfway through it, and it's breezing through now. But like I was telling Nick earlier, like the first 150, the story to me in my head as a writer, the story doesn't really start until about page 150. And so those first 150, 160 pages, to you, the reader, if you ever read Heavenly Realms Wayfarers, you won't know the difference because you've never seen any of this material before. But for me, that first 150 pages, I'd say probably 80% of that was material that I had resurrected from the first draft of Empyrean Falling.
Oh, wow.
So, which is ancient. I mean, it's like 15, 20 years old.
No one's read it but you.
No one's read it but me. Right. So, like,
so it's new material for anyone who'd get the book and read it.
Right. Anybody who reads it, you will never have seen this material before. And it is really cool. And it is important to the story because it's front loading all of these little anecdotes of these characters that show you how their personalities wind up in positions where they become what they are later on. And the story really kicks in. But for me personally, I had been sitting on this. It's just it's just nauseating.
Grind through 150 pages without the added bonus of feeling the creative juices flowing.
Right, because
to grind out 150 pages of stuff you already wrote.
I stopped writing that book at around the 130 page mark or 120 page mark, maybe something like that. Maybe even less. I can't remember. It may have been 80 or 90 pages. But all of those notes that I had that I incorporated into that first 150 pages had been there for, I'm not kidding, at least 10 to 15 years. So all that stuff, it's dusty. It's just moldy in my brain, you know? And then once you get outside of that, you start getting to like when Melfax starts like training up the new angels, you know, the Seraphim for this ultra elite Black Ops, like Seraphim Legion task force thing, you know, and all of their training that they go through. And then it's like all of this 350 pages of that book were material that I wrote last year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So like all of that material is like the first time I'm seeing it again.
Yeah.
You know, which for a writer is like, that's manna, you know, in the desert.
Sure.
Like that's fuel when you're seeing that. But man, getting through those first 150, 160 pages it was a slog, man.
Yeah.
It was a real slog. So, but we finally got there. And then I watched California Typewriter finally, which was awesome.
Yay!
Which is a huge, by the way, feather in Nick's cap because I'm notorious about like not watching. I'm such a stick in the mud that like it doesn't matter if it's awesome. I am so confined and imprisoned by my own comfort zone that I'm probably never going to watch it.
I don't know if you're like me in this way, but when other people recommend something and tell me I'm going to like it,
right?
I'm apt to write it off. I just write it off too quickly, too easily. And I learned my lesson because it was a friend at work that told me about the Man Who Invented Christmas.
That's the next one.
He's like, I got a movie.
Yeah.
You're a writer. You will love this movie. I promise you. You have to write this. You have to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And it's called, blah, 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 blah. And normally when that happens, when you're going to like this, like even with people.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to meet my friend Jared. He's awesome. You'll love Jared. Yeah. You guys will get along. And normally Jared's like a total jerk.
Yeah, he's a tool.
Yeah. He's just a total.
I just straight up tell people nowadays, like, I'm all friended up.
Stop trying to introduce me to friends. Yeah. Stop telling me who I'm going to like. Stop telling me who I'm going to. So when people recommend a movie or a book or something like that, I'm like, whatever. I'll get. Yeah, that's not. I won't say that to them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big differences between you and me. You'll be like, yeah, maybe. But I'm like, oh, sure. I can't wait to watch it. Thanks for the recommendation. And then I never watch it. And they're like, hey, did you see that movie? I'm like, oh, not yet. I've been so busy.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah.
I've been so just buried with my writing.
I've been constipated for 2 months. And so I spend all my time in the toilet hiding from,
I'm glad you watched it.
No, I did. It was really cool. Yeah. It was really cool.
I was glad you watched
it. And it was neat. And I'll tell you something else that's really cool about California Typewriter is I love the story. My favorite part of it is the story about the main tech guy who works in California Typewriter, the main service guy.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Dude, I mean, like, you're so drawn into it, like, before the movie's even over. When they're talking about shuttering the business, you're like, okay, how do I get online and send my typewriter to California Typewriter? Because I will mail it to them.
These are real people making a living repairing typewriters.
It's the American dream. Yeah. It's so awesome.
It is, absolutely. Yeah. And I hate that it's in Berkeley.
Right.
But because there are these little typewriter repair shops all over the country, apparently.
I guess, yeah. But you really got to hunt for them.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way I found out about Nashville Typewriter was I did a Google search. No, I did a DuckDuckGo search on Nashville Typewriter repair, and every place that I pulled up was like they were shuttered.
Yeah,
they were out of business. And I had sent my Royal Quiet Deluxe, my grandmother's typewriter, which, by the way, it was hers when she was in high school.
Wow,
that's how far back that thing goes. Yeah,
so cool.
It's pretty rad, and it needs it. It needs service for sure. But like, I had sent it to this place off of Sidco Drive, close to downtown Nashville, probably 15 years ago, to have them service it and to install a new ribbon. I think mainly they just installed a new ribbon, and but back then Amazon wasn't what it was. The internet wasn't what it was. You couldn't find stuff like that like you can nowadays. You really had to go local.
Yeah.
And there was one place that was like an office equipment repair store. There was like a shop, like a mechanics for copiers, and they took it on and they did it, and and it held in there for ages until Nick and I started doing this, and once you start using it, you start realizing like, yeah, this really probably does need service. I mean, I can get by, but the C always goes over here, and like there's like, I don't know how to, where's the one? I don't even know if there's a one on it. I don't think there is. I think you just use the I.
Use the lowercase L.
The lower. Okay.
Yep. Lowercase L. And you know who told me that?
Who
told me that? My son Christian.
There you go.
And I'll be darned if he isn't 100% right.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can just use
because it was confirmed. I was watching a little video about typewriters because I watched. I was inspired. I'm like, oh, I want to learn more about my typewriter. So went on YouTube.
Yeah.
And there's this girl talking about a typewriter she had for sale, and she was typing the specs of the typewriter onto a paper with the typewriter. And when she said, when you need to do a 1, and it was a Royal Deluxe, when you need to do the letter 1.
It is a 1.
Yeah. You do a lowercase L. With this typewriter.
Yeah.
During that time, the font they would use the lowercase
That's so
L.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
There it is.
I owe Christian.
Yeah.
There we go. There it is right there.
Who knew?
Actually, here, we'll do it again. I'll do it again. I don't care.
I don't care. Honey Badger don't care.
Honey Badger don't care. Do it again.
Honey Badger uses a typewriter. He don't care.
Yeah. So, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. See the number 1 there?
Yep. There she blows, baby.
Yeah.
Number 1. You can probably barely see it. It's there. So anyways, yeah. It's California Typewriter. Saw that. Been editing Wayfarers.
Cool.
Progress.
Cool.
Progress across the board.
Cool.
Adam will be happy. We submitted, we finished and submitted Sturm and Drang to IXX. So we're just waiting on them to approve it.
Awesome.
That'll probably take a couple
cool.
weeks. So then Adam Burrell's excellent work on Sturm and Drang, the third or maybe technically fourth novel in the Heavenly Realm series is going to be available for audiobook pretty soon on Audible and Amazon. So
that's awesome.
What about you? What do you have going on?
Well, this past week, I'm going to type this up in preparation.
Is Adam in?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
I was gonna say he usually announces when he does.
Yeah, he usually will say, "Hey guys, I'm watching." He'll show up.
Yeah.
But this past week, first of all, the book that Adam was working on, Pirates of Skoogie, which is book 4 of the Travelers League series. We finished it. We submitted it to. That's my favorite cover. It's actually my second favorite.
Your newest cover is.
Yeah, the newest one. It's the bomb. But we submitted to Amazon to Audible.
Yeah.
And it went live this week.
Really?
In like under 3 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah. We were shocked.
Dude, that's killer.
We were shocked. So book 4. Now I have books 1 through 4 and the prequel that are all in audiobook now.
Nice.
So Adam just finished the 15-minute mark. He read the first 15 minutes of book 5, which is great. And I'm waiting on my daughter's book, The Mermicorn, which is in the Travelers League universe, to go live, but it's been submitted. What else? Of course, my editor has she just sent me yesterday, the first round of edits for the new book, Halpus Chronicles.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Book.
Yeah.
The cover is done.
Yeah.
The cover is done, accepted by Amazon. I had a proof copy ripped and sent to me. Looks fantastic. And I don't have anything to write right now. I'm taking this week off from a writing perspective because there's a lot of other things that I need that need attention.
Yeah.
even though I should be writing. But I will say this: I did come up with a fantastic character.
Yeah.
Can I read the character to you?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
This is great. I want to get your opinion. I want to get everyone's opinion.
This is fresh, baby.
Yeah, this is fresh.
Live. We're doing it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
His name is I'm going to read this. Come on, open up.
Nick did not preamble this with me, by the way, at all. So like, we are all in this boat together.
And this is not my typewriter one-off. This is just the character. Easel Bancroft.
Yeah.
Is the kid's name.
Okay.
Okay.
Easel Bancroft. Where'd you come up with Easel?
Easel. No idea.
Okay.
No idea. Easel is a homeschooler.
Yeah.
He's anything but normal compared to his public school friends, but he views himself as perfectly acceptable in every way. He does not have many friends, and the few that he has, only one of them goes to public school. And Easel sees him as a rescue mission, trying to save at least one kid from the savage public school beast.
Yeah.
Easel is very pretentious. He believes that people who don't homeschool are unfortunate lost souls who have chosen the easy handout of free public school education and would rather be uneducated corporate sheep with smartphones than a truly intelligent, creative, and educated person.
I love him already.
I love this kid. Easel does, in fact, think he's better than everyone else. This is a 12-year-old boy, okay?
Don't all 12-year-olds think they're better than everybody?
They do, and that's what I love about 12-year-olds. Easel Bancroft doesn't play video games. He's too good for that. He believes they make the brain flabby and dependent. But the truth is his parents won't let him play video games.
Right, yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
When people praise his parents or him for not playing video games, he takes full credit and pretentiously announces that he, quote, never saw the value of it, unquote, and that he would rather, quote, read a good book or, better yet, spend time on his novel.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like me.
Yes, well, this is based on me, actually. Yes, Easel Bancroft aspires to be a great novelist. Even though he homeschools, he can't spell very well at all.
There's the rub.
But he says that, quote, spelling doesn't matter. That's what my editor is for. My job isn't to spell correctly. It's to write the story.
Yeah.
The first time he ever said that to his mom, she was so impressed with his observation that he thought he was wiser than the other children his age. He chose to forget that he had actually heard someone else say that in a YouTube video that he watched, a famous author who's equally pretentious. He wasn't supposed to be watching YouTube videos, but he never fessed up. That's his dark secret.
Oh, yeah.
Easel's main fault is that he constantly tries to act more and more old-fashioned and seeks the praises of adults by doing and saying things he think will impress them. That is so me when I was a kid. So me.
That's me now.
I'm still that way.
Yeah.
Easel's greatest fear is for the rest of the world to see him as he truly is, just like any other kid.
Yep.
To be no better than his public school peers. I won't go into the descriptions. Easel writes handwritten letters, but no one writes back.
That's so sad.
Easel Bancroft types on a typewriter because computers are inferior digital brain machines that lesser humans can't function without.
Yep. True.
Sport coat, jeans.
Yeah.
He wants to look like Dickens and Twain.
Yeah. Oh my God,
he would rather look like Dickens or Twain than some nickel-rubbing farmer in jeans, or worse, some thug in a hoodie. So he's very pretentious.
God help this kid when he gets to high school.
Well, that's kind of, he's starting to make that transition.
Yeah.
This character, he's starting to step into the reality that, you know, you can't
operate like that.
You can't operate like that. Yeah. He's got to learn. He's got to learn some compassion and humility and all those things.
Humility.
Yeah. Let's see. Visual description. Close. Anyway, he one of his favorite pastimes is to watch all the other kids play sports. He doesn't play sports. Actually, let me read that part. Easel doesn't need to play sports to know he's a winner.
Yeah, there it is.
But the truth is, if Easel did bother to play a sport with his friends, he would quickly realize, as would everyone else, that he's horrible at it. And that's unacceptable.
That's unacceptable.
So Easel takes the odd and eccentric sports like fencing and Wing Chun.
Oh, Wing Chun.
Yes, individual sports are the thing because it's where the only opponent is his instructor, and the instructor is the only person who is supposed to be better.
To be better than him. Right. Yeah.
That's why he likes combat sports. Something he can brag about, so they'll think he's tough and athletic. So
until he meets a Cobra Kai.
Well, the other kids just make fun of him, and of course he shoots his mouth off and gets bullied for it. And then when he gets in a fight, his combat sports skill doesn't do him much good.
Of course not. Yeah.
And then later on,
because Wing Chun is useless.
Yeah. Any combat sport is useless for the most part if you haven't done it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And applied it.
Yeah.
But that's not in a kid's mind.
Right, in a kid's mind.
If you're a white belt and you get your first stripe or you get your first yellow belt, you think your karate chop can lay out a grown adult.
Yeah.
You know, so he has those delusions.
You think you're Black Widow in a Marvel movie.
Exactly. Yeah. But later on, of course, he sees another kid getting bullied by this same bully, and his combat skills actually prevail, and he ends up saving this kid from getting bullied.
Oh, nice.
And that kid, it becomes his public school rescue mission
Yeah,
friend. So
until the bully comes back with a gun, you know.
Well, this is written in a world where
we're not going to get that dark.
We're not going to get that dark, no, because this is written in a world that you want parents to expose their 12-year-olds to.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so Easel Bancroft wears glasses, totally pretentious, thinks he's better than everyone else.
I love
homeschools. And I'm a homeschooler, so I know exactly what this kid is thinking. This kid is me in many, many ways.
Me too. Yeah, there's a lot of like, I really had to have my ego checked once I left the Tard Farm and went to a real school. You know,
kills me every time.
When I went to 8th grade, and man, I'm telling you, like, dude, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it was a big wake up call that like, you were not the BMOC anymore.
Yep.
You know, you are not cool. And no one understands why you have like a Civil War hat. And why your backpack looks like something that an infantryman would carry, you know, in 1864.
Which is totally cool, which is just awesome. But
it's cool.
Those kids don't get it.
Right. But it like, how subjective is cool? That's another thing that's like kind of a theme. You know, is like, is cool objective or is it subjective? You know, and what is cool and how do you define cool? And like, are you cool if you're eccentric and no one gets it? Or are you cool if you can like be attractive in your eccentricity? You know, and
that's what it is. Yeah. That's what,
you know what I mean?
Well, I am not that way. I'm not that type. That's probably universal cool.
Yeah.
That's universal cool.
Yeah.
And then there's everyone's notions of what they feel is cool and they pursue it eccentrically and don't care about what the rest of the world thinks.
Yeah.
You can do that as an adult.
You can do that as an adult.
You can't do that as a kid.
Yeah. No, you have to operate in a tribe as a kid. And I think about that too. Like,
that's very true.
One of my greatest failures growing up was doing that, was like trying to appeal to the approval of adults when I should have been learning how to operate in my peer group. You know, because what happens is when you become an adult, especially a young adult, like in your 20s, you know, and really your 20s, if you don't figure out, it's like what I tell kids nowadays. Does high school matter? No, but also yes, more than anything. Because if you can't figure out your problems in high school, guess what? There are a lot of people who do not develop past high school.
Yeah. You have to learn how to deal with your problems.
Right. And so if you can't figure out, if you can't figure out how to navigate through that in high school, you're going to have problems the rest of your life. Yeah. Because a lot of people, I mean, I'm in my 30s, you know, I'm on the back end of my 30s. And I'll tell you, I've worked with a lot of people who you would have thought this is like freshman homeroom with the way that they behave. Yeah. And it's like, man, you can either figure that out when you're 13 or 14, or you can figure it out when you're 34, but it's a sad state of affairs if you're trying to figure that out at 34.
Sure.
And you can be a hermit as an adult, but you don't have a choice about it when you're growing up. And you really don't have a choice about it when you're in your formative adult years, like trying to make a career for yourself and make your money. And it is wise to check your egos and your desires at the door and learn how to fit in. And I'm not saying like sell your soul and be an automaton, obviously, but you really do have to figure out how to like navigate those waters and get along with people in a way that doesn't create resentment. That's the next step, you know, is like doing that in a way to where you're not resenting and looking down on everyone around you secretly. You know, you appreciate that because like, this is the way the world is, you know, this is how humanity is. And you can either you can either figure out how to go with the current, or you can drown fighting the current.
Yep.
And so
yeah. Wise words. Wise words. Here.
Wisdom of the idiot. Yeah.
Lessons hard won.
For
both of us.
Yeah. Confederacy of dunces.
So good.
That's awesome. I don't know how you're going to incorporate him into.
He's not a Traveler's League character.
No.
If I write it, I mean, I think that if you create a great character, the story writes itself. I didn't write a story.
That's true.
I wasn't writing down ideas for story. I was just writing ideas down for a funny character for 12-year-olds to read.
That's awesome.
So, and there's a lot of story there.
There is a lot of story, and I think there's a lot of theme in there that's good for kids too. Like, man, that's a good message to tell kids. Is like, you can be weird, you can be cool, and society, like, the media will tell you, your computer and your phone will tell you to like be weird, embrace your weirdness, embrace eccentricity. Sure, but like,
but only if it fits these narrow expressions.
Well, that too, right? You're only allowed to do it a certain way, but also like at the end of the day, you still have to pay your bills.
Yeah,
you still have to pay your bills, and paying your bills. A part of paying your bills is getting along with your coworkers. And so, like, do you think sports ball is stupid? Yeah, so do I. But you know what? Maybe it'll behoove you to go to a Super Bowl party and not look down on everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll behoove you to just relax, just ease down, Ripley. Yeah. God, for crying out loud, man. Just go to a Super Bowl party. Do you know who the teams are? Do you care? No, but you got invited by your coworkers.
Yeah, if you go to a Super Bowl party, the last thing you should say is, I never really followed
it. Right, yeah.
It would be better for you.
Don't ask questions.
It'd be better for you
to be sick.
To pretend. That's a different type of Super Bowl party. That's a better. It would be better. It would be better for you to go to the Super Bowl party.
Knows my kryptonite.
And pretend like you're super into it and say a bunch of stuff that's total nonsense because you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Than to talk down about it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you're gonna go there and just poo-poo it.
Yeah.
Like, dude, don't. And that's the thing. Like, so much of your job, and I'm Mr. Like, I don't hang out with people from work. I don't like mixing work and friends, and those lines always end up getting blurred. Of course, you always end up making exceptions because no one can hold that line indefinitely. Yep. But as a general rule, I'm that guy who's like, I compartmentalize. Work is work, home is home.
Yeah.
Friends are friends. We don't cross the streams,
Yeah.
But at some point you have to realize that, like, if you work in an environment, hey, what's up, Adam? All right.
Adam, what's going on, man? Good evening, sir. Adam is in the house. Adam is in the house. That's just for you.
Nick did this little graphic just for you. Wait, there it is. Wait, there it is. There it
Adam
is.
In the house. We are glad that you are here, sir. It's good to see you. No apologies for being late. You can always go back and watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, Adam, it's late where you are and you have a life.
Yeah.
So whatever. But no, like that's that is a fundamental thing of like, you can figure that out the hard way and and maybe lose a job or two. You're not gonna lose your job for not going to the Super Bowl party. But going to the Super Bowl party with your coworkers, even if you don't care, it's one brick in the wall that helps sustain your tribal connection to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is all. Stephen Pressfield has a big series where he says it's all about the tribe, stupid. And that extends to well beyond Afghanistan and the wars and everything, but that extends to human life in general. We're tribal creatures. We're communal creatures. And so, yeah, man, like, if you're not interested in the Super Bowl party or the World Series, like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example of my roommate that I had back when I was in the apartment, David, hunting buddy.
Yeah.
We worked together. We didn't work together at the time that we lived together, but he's from Ohio, and we watched the World Series together.
Okay.
Which was the Cleveland Indians versus the Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
It was the one that
was
the
big one.
Cubs won.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the Indians should have won. That timeout was total BS, by the way.
Yeah.
The Cubs did not deserve that.
There's
victory.
a conspiracy there.
There's a conspiracy there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, like, I don't care anything about baseball.
Okay.
And I can get so wrapped up in, like, this is not a masculine sport. This is a game. It's not even a sport because you can be big and fat and still play it. and like it's a Masonic ritual anyways, so it's all just bread and circus. You can get down this goofy, isolated rabbit hole of all this crap, right? But at the end of the day, you have to like take a step back and say like, but you know what? My buddy, who I really love, and my roommate, who's letting me rent his place, is super into this because the Cleveland Indians are there. So like, maybe just turn that part off and just enjoy it, not just for my sake, but for his sake.
Yeah.
And just have fun and have some beers. And like, if the Indians get a run, then like, I mean, we were
just cheer together,
dude. We were screaming in that apartment at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it was a blast.
Yeah.
Do I care anything about baseball? No, but it's fun to be with people. People, in a weird way, and this is a hard one that you have to negotiate. Sometimes people are more important than whatever ideological axe it is you have to grind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that really like,
yeah, that's true.
Because you got to have people.
Yeah.
And you can either get along with people and choose to compartmentalize the things you don't like about them, or you can isolate yourself. And you know what? That's not going to do you any favors when you screw up in your job.
Yep, exactly right.
It's not going to do you any favors. You can not go to the Super Bowl, but guess what? You have not ingratiated yourself to your coworkers. So who's going to come to your defense when you screw up in work?
Yeah.
And you will screw up at some point.
Yeah.
So like,
well said.
It's
more wisdom.
I'm telling you,
drink
man.
to wisdom.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the wisdom of bullet. Bite it and suffer. Anyways, what about you? What else? After my long-winded, passionate rant about something that doesn't really matter. I'm sorry.
No, I think that's it. Book 4. Obviously, we were talking about this, Adam, just a little while ago. Book 4 is out on audiobook. Pirates of Skookie, narrated by the incomparable, the immortal Adam Burrell.
Yeah, baby.
And we're kicking off book 5 now.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, I came up with that character, Easel Bancroft. Might do something with that, I might not. But just this past week, coming up with that character and being like, oh, my gosh, I just focused on writing the character. And there's a bunch of story here I could actually write around this character. That was fun. I don't know what I'm going to write next.
That's awesome.
And then what else? The Hoppus Chronicles.
Henry Half Moon 2.
You maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll pull a Sasquatch lips on him and be like, we're going to write
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just let the muse decide.
Honestly, that is.
Or the Holy Spirit. Maybe I should just pray and say, what should I be writing right now?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get into something and feel like I'm not being purpose-driven in it. I don't know.
That's true. You don't want to. There is that yeoman-like attitude of like, start the next one tomorrow. But, I mean, there's something to be said for like taking a break. Yeah. It depends on. I think it depends on how taxed you feel and how much motivation you have. And praying definitely works. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Adam.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I think it also certain personality types. Like there are some personality types who feel like I have to keep my momentum going.
Mm-hmm.
If I slow down, like I think Dad was like that in a lot of ways. I think Dad felt like if he ever stopped, the train would just run off the track. Because Dad always was creating. He always was writing. He always had. Now he had a financial burden as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was Ahab lashed to the whale.
Yeah, for sure.
In a lot of ways, And when it's your livelihood, maybe it's probably different. You probably do need that yeoman-like attitude of like, you know what, I don't have any motivation. My tank is empty, but I'm going to keep plugging ahead anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, the motivation comes in sitting down and doing the work and just typing, 10 pages that are just going to get deleted anyways.
Yeah.
It's
still write something.
Yeah.
But as far as dedicating yourself to a project, committing to a project, that's what I'm not ready to do.
Oh yeah.
I totally agree that I should still be actually writing, even though I'm not in the middle of a writing project.
Yeah.
I just
brainstorming.
I don't know.
There's always brainstorm. But too, the other side of that equation is if you just dive into another project and your tank is empty and you're exhausted and you're just like, man, I just want to enjoy the fruits of my labor a little bit. But if you keep going and you keep grinding, it kind of turns into. Do you remember the first Conan movie where he is like pushing the wheel of pain? It's just like this millstone out in the middle of nowhere. and he's chained to it, and it's just like he did that for like 20 years or something. That's kind of what that can feel like in a counterproductive sort of way, where it's like, honestly, maybe you just need to like not grind your nose anymore and just back off a little bit.
Maybe.
And go to a park, or, go to a beach or something and just,
and
then just relax. Like, just enjoy it. Dude, when I finished Wayfarers, I took 2 weeks off and did nothing. I mean, I did absolutely nothing.
I got a reading list a mile long.
Yeah.
I can tap into that. Sometimes a few days off brings back the edge in a big way. True, and I just took a few days off.
Yeah,
and we will see if that's that might be true for me. We'll see.
Adam, do you take time off whenever you do whenever you finish projects? Or I mean, I know it probably depends on like the demands of whatever the next project is and your timetable. But like, if you have the option, do you usually take breaks, or is it something that you feel motivated to keep going on?
It'll be interesting to know. Yeah. As a narrator, because it's it's still work.
It's work.
Dude,
it's work. I mean, he puts a lot of work into that.
Well, it's not just the recording; it's actually going just like we do.
Yeah.
We write it, and then we go back and we self-edit, and then he's, he has to do the same thing when he narrates it. It's got to be up to a certain standard, audio quality standard.
Yeah.
In addition to the going back and editing.
Yeah.
So there's an added layer there.
Yeah. And it's not. I think it's even probably tougher for Adam in a lot of ways, because it's not his intellectual property. You know what I mean? Like, for us, there's a real ownership to it, of cultivation, of like, okay, this is my baby, this is my project, this is my child, this is my garden, this is like, I'm responsible for all of this, my name's attached to it, so there's an extra bit of motivation to like actually do the work and get it done. But like, when you're a narrator, I wonder how much of it is like, man, I am saddled up onto a lame horse.
Yeah.
Like, this horse sucks. He keeps, but I gotta get over the finish line with it, because that's what I'm doing. So it's probably a little different for Adam. I don't know.
It might be.
Maybe not. But anyways,
you want to go on to
big news.
Big news.
So
news that's so big.
Yep. So big.
So big. You gotta carry it over your shoulder.
Yeah, baby.
That's how big this news is.
It's still in the works. It's a little premature to talk about this now, but we're gonna give you guys a sneak peek. Stephen Pressfield has a new book out, which I don't know if they've shipped them yet. They've processed my payment, but I don't know if they've actually shipped them. So hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have a copy that we can show. But Stephen Pressfield, who's my favorite author, instrumental and responsible for almost everything I've ever done, as well as pretty influential for Nick as well. Adam, let's see. Normally in between X, but I tend to work best when I have a mountain. Yeah, that's my point of view. I love having pressure to get it right and done. And beating timetables.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how bad the book is. It has to be done. That's a very godly quality, Adam. We appreciate that about you. Thank you. No, that's true, man. That pressure helps.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the pressure that turns coal into diamonds, and having that timetable. And that's the cool thing about like being
deadlines.
Because being a writer is such a solitary, self-indulgent experience. But whether you're a narrator or a cover artist or an editor or a writer, after it gets out of that initial phase, it becomes a communal effort. And that tribal aspect of like, we're all in this together. We all have timetables. We all got to complete it. That pressure creates the shine.
Yep.
It really does. Yep. It forces you to like, man up, cowboy up, baby.
And you talk about the muse, a timetable is one of the very few things that can tame the muse.
Yeah.
That can make her show up.
Yeah, she respects the timetable.
Pressfield talks about that.
Yeah.
He talks about that.
He talks about, in keeping an orderly house, which is kind of that Jordan Peterson thing, not having those little messes, and I think Jordan Peterson or Stephen Pressfield says like, dust the front doorstep, lest the muse, sully her gown as she enters into your home. Like it's like set yourself up to win.
Yeah.
You know, and when you sit down and you have that pressure, she shows up because, you know, that
quick list of Stephen Pressfield works. Go.
Oh man, Gates of Fire, Tides of War, The War of Art, the Afghan Campaign, Last of the Amazons, Do the Work, The War of Art, The Warrior Ethos, which Nick actually gave me.
Great
and
book.
Then I passed on after reading it to our nephew, who is currently, I just saw him a couple nights ago.
Did you?
He stopped by for like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
If you were here, that's the only reason I didn't call you.
Dang it. That's all right.
But he is on his way to Buds.
He's on his way to Buds.
He is going to be a Navy SEAL, baby.
Yep.
So, and he loves it. So yeah, all of those. There are a couple that I haven't read. Killing Rommel and The Profession.
And can I mention Stephen Pressfield is also the author of The Legend of Bagger Vance.
The Legend of Bagger Vance.
The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Yeah.
That's who we're talking about.
Yeah. So big deal.
Huge deal. He's a writer's writer.
He is a writer's writer. And he has a new book out called A Man at Arms, which takes place during the 1st century AD in Jerusalem. Supposedly it has intersections with the Apostle Paul. It's very cool. Yeah, it's very interesting.
And he's promoting his book.
He's promoting his book. Book just came out, A Man at Arms by Stephen Pressfield. It's on Amazon. It's all over the place. He has a YouTube channel. He has a great YouTube channel, actually. He has an Instagram channel. It's all worth checking out. But anyways, part of the promotion for that book was this package that you could get that would enable you to have a 30-minute call, a 30-minute Zoom call with the man himself, Stephen Pressfield, and Nick enough.
With the man himself.
Yeah, Nick was generous enough to understand what a huge deal that is for me.
Well, me too.
And it is for Nick. Yeah, it is for Nick too. In fact, honestly, if it weren't for you, I would never know about Stephen Pressfield.
Really?
Because junior year of high school, summer of junior year, BJ, our eldest brother, BJ, read Gates of Fire.
Right, and gave
it to you.
Yep.
And then you read it.
Yep.
And then you gave it to me.
Yeah.
And I read it, and Gates of Fire, it is second only to the Bible. As far as
it's one of your all-time favorites.
It is my all-time favorite work of art and work of fiction.
Read it again.
Oh, it's so good.
But I have to read A Man at Arms next.
Yeah,
as soon as I get the copy.
As soon as it comes in. In fact, my very first video on this channel was talking about Gates of Fire and Stephen Pressfield.
Yep.
And Tides of War, which was his follow-up novel, which took me about 5 or 6 years to appreciate. But I actually, in a weird way, I love that novel just as much.
And I've read The War of Art.
And The War of Art is instrumental.
And I've listened.
Or Virtues
to the
of
audio.
I'm sorry, Tides of War. I'm sorry, Tides of War, not War of Art.
I've read the War of Art, so good, and then I bought the audiobook also and listened to it, and then I listened to it again. Yeah. And then I got Do the Work. Yeah. And I listened to that. I just love hearing him talk about resistance and pushing through it and committing to something, and and the muse. Yeah. And he talks about
the warrior archetype. He has a whole series on YouTube about the warrior archetype, and he has a whole series on Instagram talking about cool books that he really likes. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So, anyways, we sprung for that package, and probably I've been talking to his marketing manager. Probably sometime maybe in May. It'll probably take another month and a half, maybe something like that, for his schedule to die down. We're gonna have a 30-minute interview with the man, the myth, the legend,
and all things. Of course, if the marketing manager is agreeable to it, which it sounds like they're probably going to be. At
they've been so generous.
They're going to let us share our interview, our face-to-face, Zoom face-to-face interview. We're gonna rebroadcast that interview on this live stream. Yeah, with their permission.
So
which I'm pretty sure we have. So you're going to get to see us talking with Stephen the actual Stephen Pressfield in an interview.
It's going to be super cool. Yeah. It's one of those things where, here's what a loser I am. I remember thinking, when you're writing your first novel, especially if it's some sort of epic or fantasy or something grand, you kind of in order to keep yourself going, you daydream about your fantasies. What's the peak of the mountain for you? Would you want Peter Jackson to direct a trilogy of your movies? You know, would you want like HBO to pick you up as a series? And I remember like, I'm such a like a weirdo. I was like, you know what I honestly would love to do, what my favorite thing, I remember this, 2004 is right when I started my security gig. I remember thinking like, my favorite thing in the world, if I could have anything in the world, if God would grant me any wish, it would be to like just go on a book tour with Stephen Pressfield.
That's like, awesome.
That's all I wanted. I just wanted to have a Q&A on a table, you know, in a banquet hall with Stephen Pressfield and just be his protege.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
yeah.
You know.
The dream.
So, dude, the idea of like talking to the man who wrote Gates of Fire.
Are you going to be able to compose yourself?
There's some scene in some movie where like, some kid like meets his idol.
Fangirl.
You know, yeah. And like, instead of like saying anything, he just stands there like this. The whole time he's just, you know, and then the person's like, okay, well, it's nice to meet you, and walks away, you know. Yeah. And so like, there might be a lot of this beforehand.
Oh man, that's great.
But I mean, he's just a man. He's just a dude.
He is the man.
And there's a part of you that's afraid of like, you know, you don't want to meet your heroes, you know, but like, whatever, man, meet the guy, like talk to him, you know. And dude, he's so gracious in interviews. I've watched, I've done a little bit of research and watched some of his interviews and some of his stuff, and he knows how to do interviews because he's a writer's writer. He understands. Yeah. He has a degree in psychology. He was a Marine during Vietnam. Like, he's a very introspective, you know, he's a writer's writer, man. That's cool. It's awesome.
It's great.
So yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I have to get over my butterflies and just go puke in the corner, you know.
We'll have a bucket next week.
Have a bucket, you know.
Bring the old bucket.
So have a sedative.
Well, that's our big news, a potential interview with Stephen Pressfield with the Gosslings that we will share with you guys. So we are excited about that. So next.
So stay tuned on that, by the way, because we'll give periodic updates.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But, okay. Time for typewriter one-offs. So every week, in case you're just tuning in, every week Nick and I talk about like the kiln of pressure. We usually wait until the last second to do our typewriter one-offs.
I did mine today.
Did you? I actually did mine yesterday. It was so nice outside. I took my typewriter out on the patio and opened it up and just enjoyed the nice sunshine. And so I started banking them because we're going to take our typewriters to the Nashville Typewriter Guy at some point. Yeah. So we will be without typewriters, but every week we do just a 1-page short story, anecdote, just something fun. And we read it on air and then just sort of talk about whatever. And if you've ever thought about it, like if you're a writer, get a typewriter. Even if you're not a writer, it's just fun. It's cool, you know, and the more people I think who buy typewriters, because according to that documentary, California Typewriter, the last company that was making them in India closed down. Yeah. So it's probably going to take a bunch of people a groundswell renaissance in order to bring that industry back up. Yep. And it's fun, man. There's nothing like writing on a typewriter. It's a solitary, isolated, focused experience that's very masculine because it feels like you're building something. And if you watch any of Stephen Pressfield's interviews, he has one sitting in the corner. Ah, cool. He knows
that's our angle.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We got to take the typewriter angle.
Yeah. So
in the interview. Very cool.
What about you? Like, what is I always talk about like what using typewriter feels like to me. What does it feel like to you?
It feels like it feels like the sound of a shovel hitting dirt.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm planting a garden or tilling, or I feel like I'm doing something actually really tangible.
That's awesome.
And for me, it's masculine. There are no notifications. There's nothing jumping in my way. Yeah. Telling me I spelled something wrong.
Right.
And just like, like in California Typewriter, John Mayer is one of the guys who talks about writing. He's a musician and he writes all of his songs on a typewriter, and he said it perfectly. It doesn't argue with you.
It doesn't argue.
It doesn't take your brain and force it in. Yeah. He says, yes, sir, right away. However you want it, that's how it's going to be on the page. It doesn't get in your way.
It's very Dune-like. It's very self-human actualization.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one reason why. That's a big reason why I think we both got rid of our smartphones. Yeah, it was because I was sick of having this idiot technology argue with me. Like, I don't need your suggestions. I know what it is I'm trying to look for or spell. Like,
and it's a constant barrage of, can I access your phone? You're getting like, I need to access your location. I need to access. I need to update. I need to access your camera. I need to access your microphone. I need to access your contacts. Can I do this? Do I have permission to do that? I mean, it's just like,
will you just do the thing I told you to do?
Yeah, I
just do the thing.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a fussy, self-entitled, like, inbred border collie.
Yeah.
It just doesn't want to, like, just herd the sheep.
Yeah.
Just herd the sheep. Yeah. You know? Just shut up and herd the sheep.
Yeah. Just do the thing. I just want to write.
Yeah.
That's
the purity of the typewriter. And it is the most hipster thing in the world, it seems like, to talk about it like that.
Only right now.
Only right now, yeah.
You've had a typewriter for decades.
Yeah.
You know, I've had one for a year, and it's absolutely grown on me just writing it, whether or not, you know, it's trendy or otherwise. It's been a wonderful experience.
But that's a pure writer's experience that you've had.
It really is.
It's not a trend.
Yeah, no.
You know, and I think there are a lot of
glad
people,
it's trending right now. I think it's great.
It's great. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing that actually honestly is kind of what separates you from the hipsters. Is that the hipsters will look at something trending and be like, "Oh no, now all the normies have it." And, you know,
the normies. Now the boomers are going to start.
Yeah, no,
dude, boomers had to use typewriters like for reals.
Yeah, you know,
like it wasn't a choice. It wasn't like I could do it on a typewriter or anything else.
Yeah,
you know, boomers had to do it. Like
they did.
You know
who else used typewriters? The KGB. As of like 10 years ago, they started using typewriters.
They started again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't hack a typewriter.
You can. That's.
I'm done, dude.
That. You can't hack a typewriter.
Say what you will about the Slavs, man. Like, I gotta hand it to them. They know some stuff, man. You can't hack a typewriter. Boom.
Here, let's just put it on here.
There it is.
You can't.
It's true.
You can't hack a typewriter.
You can't hack a typewriter.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And it is very masculine. It does feel like you're building something. Ironically, David Sedaris talks about that in, I think it's Me Talk Pretty One Day, one of his books. Yeah. David Sedaris is a comedy writer from New York. Very, very funny. He's been around for ages. And but he talks about how, you know, the smack and clatter of using a typewriter feels like you're really building something, whereas like the faint rat-like scurry of a keyboard, you know, it just feels very mousy and ineffective and ineffectual, you know. But and he says that even if he's like, even if I fail at whatever I'm trying to write, at least I can look at the waste paper basket overflowing with crumpled up paper and know that if I went down, at least I took a few trees with me. You know, it's very funny. David Sedaris is hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, like it's something that we've progressed past. But we've over progressed into these. I mean, even if I use a laptop, much like Stephen Pressfield, actually, who also uses a laptop. I learned a lot of my tricks from him. But he uses a laptop. I use a laptop, but it's hard to use a laptop without multiple tabs open.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll see your icon come up of like, now you got mail, you know, ironically, Tom Hanks, you've got mail.
Yep.
And then, you know, you see your Instagram notification or YouTube. And it's always trying to like pull you off into these little, just fish hook you into these little things. But this is all it does. Mm-hmm. It's just there waiting for you. It's a sword. Mm-hmm. And a sword is a pure thing.
It does interrupt you to tell you when you need to move to the next line. The carriage says, I have no more space. Let's move on.
But you know, and that's progress. You know, it feels good when you hear that bell.
Oh yeah.
When you hear that bell, you're like, yeah, baby, I've done something. Now I get to move on and move to the next one.
Yes.
It's different than a distraction kind of thing, you know?
Let me tell them to shut up. I didn't think my phone would go off.
I know. Well, we're both, Like Nick and I are so anti smartphones. We run flip phones these days.
Every time.
So, but yeah, we're in love with the typewriter.
Absolutely.
And we're very grateful that there is a resurgence of typewriters and using a pen, or a typewriter. I wish I had my proof copy, Adam, that I could show you of Wayfarers, because it's got red ink all in it. And I don't know about I don't know how you do it. I don't know how other people do it, but I cannot edit without a paper copy, whether it's printed or in book form, with a red pen.
Oh, wow.
I have to have that.
I like it.
And it's just a thing. It's like Dad. Dad used, our father was a Southern gospel music producer and arranger for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was in the business for 50 years.
Right.
And he refused to go digital. It's part of that artist motif. He always used number 1 pencils that he got from our great grandmother, who was an Avon sales lady.
Number 1 pencils.
Number 1 pencils. Yeah.
He would not use the number 2 pencil.
Know why. I think maybe because it was softer, he could write faster.
No, actually, well, the number 1 pencil it was a darker lead.
Oh, really?
But it would erase easily.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So it's a different type of, and maybe it was OLED and not, maybe it wasn't graphite. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there was something very specific about how it looked on the page and how easy it was to correct.
Well, and he also would use yellow score paper.
Yeah, the big sheets of score paper.
And he did that all the way up. I mean, literally, honestly, it sounds a little moribund to say, but literally until the day he died.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he worked until the day he died. And
I wish I could
appreciate
the artist.
I know.
More. Now, I get it now.
Yeah.
I wish I had gotten it then.
I know.
When I was 20, 25.
I know. You don't think about that when you're 20. We're so dumb.
Don't realize how good you have it.
I know. Well, that's the plight of the parent, man. Is that like, you just got to stick it out for 20 years waiting for this dumb kid to figure out to appreciate you.
Hope you're still alive when the light bulb goes off.
Yeah, and he appreciates you the way yeah. So cheers to you, parents. Cheers to parents. Good on you. Keeping the species going, Logos, and your long suffering.
Anyway, you want to see who goes first?
Typewriter 1-off. So we do a little thing to figure it out.
I really want you to go first this time.
Yeah?
I really want you to go first this time. It's important.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
But we can still do it.
All right. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Dang it. I really want you to go first this time.
You know what? I will still go first.
Oh, God bless you. I promise you it'll be worth it. I promise.
No, well, see, here's the thing. Victory, this is like a coin toss. Because victory gives you the purview to defer.
You have the option.
You have the option. It's like a coin toss. Would you like to kick or receive? So
thank you. I'm going to drink to you.
So I'm going to kick.
First. Thank you. Thank you for indulging me.
Well, hey, I didn't pay for any of this. So. Okay. My price for that is I'll take the rest of this.
It's all yours.
It's
all yours.
See what a good negotiator Nick is?
Hey, man, it's easy to be a great negotiator when you just say, you know what, I'm just going to be generous, give them whatever they want.
See? Yeah.
They've already done me the favor.
I still probably owe him dinner, so it's fine. So.
Why? That was understood.
Right, that was understood, yeah. That was part of the deal.
No, it's not.
No, icing on the cake. John, I hope you're watching because this one's for you, buddy. Okay. Richard did not believe in reincarnation, nor did he give much credence to evolution. His adherence to the way did not abide such empty-calorie intelligentsia. But standing at the counter of the quote-unquote 3 Bs with the wizened squint of Mr. Edwards across from him, he couldn't help but feel the sweltering heat of San Juan Hill as he held the 1914 Spanish Mauser in his hands. He racked the smooth, slick action of the bolt and firmly caressed the wooden stock, impregnated by dozens of men's hands over a century of strife and service. They don't make them like this anymore, he thought. He handed it back to Mr. Edwards. What else you got? Ever patient, Mr. Edwards rubbed his chin and turned to the rack of guns behind him. Richard was grateful for this farmer-turned-gun shop employee. His salt-of-the-earth demeanor commanded respect, and his knowledge was a boon. How about something more patriotic, but no less iconic, he said, and handed him a Springfield Armory M1 Garand. Richard hefted its ungainly weight up to his thin shoulder. Immediately, the sand and noise of D-Day flashed before his eyes. He heard the desperate cries of his band of brothers whose names he never knew, calling for enfilade fire on a pillbox, laying down hate with a machine gun. The smell of surf and gunpowder and blood flooded his nostrils. Richard mused for a moment that perhaps the samurai mystics were right, and wondered how many souls were claimed by this weapon. A valiant and formidable tool of a bygone era. Richard smiled. I'll take it, he said, handing the Garand back to Mr. Edwards. The friendly gentleman across the counter beamed as he handed Richard a .44-73. In no time, the paperwork was done and the receipt was cashed out. He let Mr. Edwards pile him up with ammo, a sling, a case, and a copy of John Ross's infamous book. The buxom girl running the cash register took his money with a voluminous and voluptuous smile. "Thanks for shopping at Books, Bullets, and Boobs," she beamed. Richard chuckled as he left, thinking that no matter how vulgar it was, gun shops were still reliquaries of Logos, to be preserved forever.
Ah, so good. So good. Books, Bullets, and Boobs.
Books, Bullets, and Boobs.
You got 2 out of 3 of those.
If you...
John Ross. What John Ross's book? What is that?
You're
the gun guy.
Unintended Consequences. It's it is like it was written back in the 90s, shortly after like Ruby Ridge and Waco. It is a book about, near as I can tell, I'm not finished with it yet, because it's a massive book. It's like 800 pages. It's the dimensions of Empyrean falling, but it's double the page count.
Wow.
Yeah, it's big.
Wow.
And it's out of print. You can't find it anywhere. It's one of those no books. It's a naughty book. You're not.
Oh, it's a naughty book.
It's a naughty book.
Ah, so can't talk about it on Soch.
Yeah, so you got to go to eBay. You got to go to Facebook Marketplace.
Gotcha.
And it'll usually run you probably about $200 to get it, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
But it's a book about gun culture, and it's a book about how gun culture is a culture that is born on the backs of personal responsibility. Mm-hmm. And American spirit, and pride and tradition and legacy, and it is something that is constantly under assault and under threat of dissolution. And those assaults by tyrannical forces have unintended consequences that they do not expect.
Yeah.
So
nice.
But it's a cool book. It's a great book because it details it goes through history and details like the lineage of certain people who I think become embroiled in some sort of Ruby Ridge standoff at some point, I think, or something akin to what was the farm out in Oregon, the dispute. I can't remember what it is. But some sort of standoff between tyrannical forces and patriotic Americans. But
Bundy Ranch?
Bundy Ranch, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it goes through history and it shows like, the legacy of trick shooters.
Yeah.
And human there's a big draw, a big part of gun culture is much like with typewriters that we were talking about, this human self-actualization. This desire to master the machine. The machine doesn't master you, you harness the machine. And that's the beauty of firearms, and that's the beauty of gun culture, because it is so heavy on personal responsibility, and you're responsible for every bullet. But it also is like, it's not the arrow, it's the Indian kind of thing.
Yeah.
A friend of mine told me that not too long ago, and it's true. You can have a bad gun, a bad piece of machinery that was made by imperfectly by poor hands, poorly manufactured. But most of the guns you have are going to shoot better than you, and it's your responsibility to man up, to cowboy up, to soldier up, and harness this power and figure out how to use it proficiently and safely and effectively. And that's gun culture, And not only that, but like liberty is born on the back of that. Freedom is preserved on the back of that, and human endeavor, human opportunity, constitutional freedoms, it's all born on the back of that
for real.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's a cool book that really delves into a lot of, even though it was written in the 90s, it's probably more relevant now than it was back then.
Oh yeah.
And it's a shame that it's tough to get a hold of. You can probably find it in PDF form online, but check eBay. Check Amazon used, and then check Facebook Marketplace. You can usually find somebody willing to sell a copy. So it's cool just to have.
What's a 4473?
4473 is the background check form.
Ah, gotcha.
So you have to fill that out every time you purchase a gun in a gun shop, in a retailer. It's pretty perfunctory. It's just it's standard.
Cool.
But it's also funny. You can tell like signs of the times, they'll change certain things here and there. Like it stopped saying sex and started saying gender.
Oh, give me a break.
Yeah, it's
really give me
funny.
A break.
It was right towards the end of my tenure in the gun shop.
Oh, give me a break.
But that's also my ode to my friend John, with whom I worked at the gun shop, who basically is Mr. Edwards.
Yeah, you told me about him.
Yeah, love John to death.
Inspired that character.
I try not to get all misty about it, but I friggin' miss those guys, man.
Yeah, sure.
I miss working with those guys. I mean, I work with some cool people now, but those guys were like, in a weird way, even though I was a civilian, even though I never served in the military or wasn't in law enforcement, those were my people. Like former military, Glenn, Jerry, Bill, all these guys, man, Jason, John. It's just, if I could
miss them.
Yeah, if I could go back and work with those guys, man, that was a good time. It was a good time because of them. They were super cool. And I was very honored and privileged. One of the book ideas I actually have is to go through and just interview all those guys and just be like, just tell me a story about like your life, just call it like Lions in Winter,
Yeah, it's a great name.
A story about veterans, just all walks of life.
Same type of thing I wanted to do with that Tiki Niki novel.
Oh yeah, just a repository
that's a perfect way. A repository of my most impactful male relationships in my life.
Yeah,
best friends, family included. Are all a template for a character in this book.
Yeah,
because these are all the people that, if I had my way, they would all be here with me.
Yeah,
now in this room.
Yeah, it's your Valhalla. That's exactly what it feels like.
There's nothing left to say.
Working in that gun shop felt like being in Valhalla.
You're in your Valhalla.
And it's the same thing. Yeah, it's like you're with all of the masculine archetypal buddies.
Yeah,
that you like admire, you revere these guys. You gain a lot of wisdom from these guys, and they're fun.
Yeah,
they're fun to be around. They're funny. You can like curse at them and like call them names, and they call you names, and like no one gets their feelings hurt.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's like,
and everyone laughs, and everyone themselves.
Everyone laughs. Yeah, if you crack on somebody, if you like rip someone a new one, like everybody finds it hilarious, and no one holds a grudge. Like, it's just good dude culture. It's masculine culture, and I miss that, man.
Speaking of laughing at ourselves.
Yeah.
I bought myself something on Amazon. I'm going to wear it.
Ascot.
I got you one.
Oh, great.
I got you one.
Yeah. I have no idea how to
I'm going to wear an ascot while I read my super pretentious typewriter warm-up. And I think the way you do it is you just do like a regular knot.
Yeah. Do you come up underneath?
Yeah, just like that, and then just tuck everything underneath.
John, you better take a screen cap of this so you can make fun of me forever about this.
How's that? Ooh, man, I love it.
Yours looks all right. Yours looks like you know what you're doing. Mine is just going to be I
stuff it in there.
A Willow Hall exclusive.
So I got my ascot on. Now I'm going to read my typewriter one off. Speaking of laughing at ourselves, cheers, by the way. Where's our pipes? We need to get
I know. Where's a pipe when you need it?
I can't believe we're doing this, but
filthy ascot.
All right,
go for it.
This one, and I cheated. It's actually 2 pages.
How dare you?
I know. I gave you a hard time about it, and then I did it. This is called My Corona.
My Corona. Awesome.
I was more than a willing participant. I was the instigator, the wicked genius, and author of the little side trip. It was the last stop on. Oh, excuse me. It was the last shop on the list. Number 5.
Yeah.
We had scurried across the state for the past 2 days, enjoying the beauty of the parks. My wife had planned the getaways, trails, waterfalls, and historic landmarks. These are the interests of a homeschooling family, particularly one on a budget. It was going to be Disney for this spring break, but life gets in the way. Again. No matter, there's enough to do and see right here in our own state's backyard, and my wife organized the perfect 3-day jaunt to take in as much as possible. With 3 state parks checked off our list and 1 to go, we set out on our last day. Now, for the first 2 days of the trip, I had it in my mind to hit a few antique stores in the area.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I really dig old things.
Yeah.
And especially ones that are small and shiny. Most of all, I love old typewriters.
Yeah.
But the first 4 stores I stopped at yielded nothing but some old toys that my kids sweet-talked me into buying. We walked out of each shop with a little something for everyone except me. I never saw a single typewriter. On the last day of the trip, I spotted an old rundown antique store, as antiquated as the junk on display, both inside and out. My family, God bless them, rolled their eyes at my obsession and walked into the shop with me. We accidentally entered the storage room where junk is sorted and priced before being put on display in the showroom. An old man smiled and asked if he could help me find anything in particular, and then explained to us that we were in the sorting room. My kids didn't see any toys. They didn't respond to him. And my wife was just browsing with no specific interests. Tired of the search and running out of time for our trip, I did mention that we still had one state park to conquer. I blurted out, "You got any old typewriters?"
Yeah.
It was a desperate sounding question, and the old man no doubt could smell the desperation on my breath. He waved his hand toward a pile of junk behind him and said, "You mean like that one?" Suddenly, my eyes came into focus on the pile of estate sale garbage. And there, on a worthless plastic coffee table, sat a 1913 Corona 3 portable folding typewriter.
No way.
It looked like it had just jumped out of a movie scene and materialized like a ghost in front of me. Wow. I admit that I responded with a cry of astonishment and lost pretty much any composure. The man asked how much I wanted for it. Or I asked the man how much he wanted for it, and I made an offer of $50. He said that he'd let it go for $75. I thanked him and somehow didn't care to continue the haggling. I would have gone 3 times that, and gladly, after such a discovery. He walked me inside, and we rang it up and completed the transaction. The ladies that worked there giggled at the stunned expression still plastered to my face, and were delighted that I found a true treasure. I may have made a fool of myself, but I don't care. "What are you going to do with it?" a sweet old lady asked. I looked her dead in the eyes and replied, "I'm going to clean it, restore it, then write a novel on it."
Yeah.
They all laughed. I didn't. I was deadly serious. Yeah. I think I'll kill them in the novel and use the royalties to buy some more old typewriters. Wait, I'm not done.
That's awesome.
Would you like to see my 1913 Corona 3 portable folding typewriter?
I would be angry if I didn't. Yes.
One moment, please.
Make it happen. I knew it. I knew you got about 10 sentences in, and I was like, that box is holding an Ark of the Covenant treasure. Whoa, dude, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that, man.
Get a look.
That is amazing.
I spent all day yesterday.
That is beautiful.
Cleaning, degreasing, tweaking this.
Yep.
And I actually put a ribbon on myself. Wow. You have to self-spool the ribbon.
Really?
Yep. You have to get it on there yourself.
1913, huh?
Yep. And
this
guess
over
what?
100 years old.
It actually works.
No way.
Yep. And you're going to type on it.
Here. Have you typed anything on it yet?
I have.
Okay. I get to type on a 1913 Corona.
This thing is amazing. And when I saw it, I was like, "He's coming home with me, boy." Let me see if I can get
you are mine, baby.
Come on, get in there. There we go. Little cricket. Yeah. There we go. All right. So,
dude, that is amazing.
Go for it. Check it out.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Let me redo.
No, you got to get it all.
Yeah.
Let me get my. This thing has rocked my world. Now, here's caps. This is what's cool about this is that when you hit caps, like on this one, when you hit caps lock,
yeah,
the bucket or whatever it's called that holds the actual keys goes down, right?
Yeah.
Well, on the old ones, you hit cap and the whole carriage lifts up.
Oh, that's cool.
And then this number row, if you want to do any of the figures, you hit this and it goes up.
The figure
higher.
button. Wow.
And you can lock it by.
Oh, no kidding.
So that locks either cap or figures. Yeah. Give it a try.
Dude. Oh, I love the keys.
They're glass top keys.
Really?
Yeah.
I love how they feel.
Yeah.
Like the cup.
Yeah, it cups your hand. It cups your fingertip.
This is so much. Ah, this is cool. Let's see.
Yes. This is the sound of history. I often wonder, like, because of when this was made, how many letters were typed? Like, did anyone use this typewriter to, tell their loved ones that, someone caught the Spanish flu, or, their son had been, drafted and sent. Okay, so you actually pinch it. There you go. And now push it over.
Pinch it?
Yeah, you pinched it. Yeah, you got it. And now push it over. Yep, you got it.
Oh, interesting.
There you go.
Cool.
When you think about this, this has gone through 2 world wars, turn of the century, the Great Depression, and every single little metal part is every piece of this is metal, and every single tiny piece of this is still attached and working on this machine that's over 100 years old.
There's the backspace.
Yep. I couldn't believe it.
Dude.
I couldn't believe it.
It is, and it feels, everything feels very purpose-driven. There's nothing, It's all very utilitarian, but it's so well made.
Mm-hmm. And this is the black and red ink. You switch from black to red using this knot. Even back then, they were using dual-colored ink ribbons. Yeah. Yeah. Look at him go. Look at him go. Just
both of them?
Yeah, there you go. Well, there you go. Oh, it's kind of bleeding out here. Let me.
Dude, that is cool.
This little guy. There's a little.
That's awesome.
Isn't this great? I love it. A ton of fun.
You guys want to just hang out for 20 minutes while I sit here and type with the typewriter?
You are looking at history, folks.
That is amazing.
So I'm going to keep up my search for old treasures like this.
That is super cool, dude.
This is the perfect symbol of my love for what the typewriter is and means. It hasn't, from this to this, it has not changed much.
No.
100 years and it has not changed much. It still serves the same purpose.
Still serves the same purpose.
And technology just can't take this away from me. I just refuse to.
That is amazing.
Sorry.
Dude, that Nashville typewriter guy would love to see that too, I bet.
Yeah. Show him. He's probably seen a lot of these types of things before.
Maybe. I don't know.
But
dude, that is
It was a great find.
I'm so happy for you, man.
Here. Thank you.
That made that whole trip worth it.
Yeah. Oh, it was
$75.
Great. Yeah.
That's like what I paid for these Royal Deluxes.
I would have paid. Yeah, and I would have paid way more than that. Man.
That is such a cool. Anytime you can find a cool antique that works, like I'm with him. Antique malls. I remember that was one thing I used to do when I was a pirate in Florida. Was along the strip in Navarre, between like Pensacola and Fort Walton. There were 2 or 3 antique malls.
Yeah.
And it was always fun going in there, man, because you could find some really cool stuff. You find a lot of crap, you find a lot of flowery junk, but honestly, you really could find some really neat stuff that just like speaks to you.
Yeah.
And stuff like this, man, it speaks to you. It's just cool.
It did speak to me when I saw it. I felt like I had been electrocuted.
Yeah.
Like when you touch an electric fence.
Yeah.
And you get that jolt.
Yeah.
When I saw this, not only could not believe that I actually found an old typewriter in an antique shop, but the look of it looked like it was. It
looks like it came straight out of Capone, Chicago.
It does. Yeah. It looks like it came right out of the either the Victorian area or just that pre-World War I. It just looked like everything I've always wanted something old to look like.
Yeah.
And every single thing, of course, when I got it, not everything was working perfectly. I had to kind of get things moving, and these keys were like solid black, just caked with decades of muck and dirt.
What did you clean them with?
I cleaned it actually, and I went on YouTube to do this. Yeah. You spray it out, then you blow dry. You dry it off as much as you can, and then you use like a degreaser.
Yeah.
One thing that I use, since this is all metal, I use like a carburetor cleaner.
Yeah.
And it just took so much crap. Yeah, it just took all the crap off.
That's what I use on my AK. Yeah.
But you know what I used right here with the keys?
Yeah.
Gun oil.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think about all the mechanisms in a gun that you need to keep lubricated and clean, and you need to use an oil that's not going to turn to muck and gunk over time.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I have gun oil.
Yeah.
So I put it in there, and
that's amazing.
It's just
I'm telling you, that's the same kind of thing like with the typewriter went off about like the story and the samurai and the swords and everything. Like, you do wonder, man, if you could go back and just like find everything that was written on this particular machine.
Yeah.
And maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was just like a couple of postcards and like some kid dinked around with it, and it's who knows?
That's okay too.
But dude, maybe there were some amazingly eloquent love letters that were written on this thing.
Yeah.
Maybe there was like a last will and testament. Maybe just powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Just real meat of the bones of humanity kind of stuff. And what's his name? John Mayer. He's so right about how in that documentary he talks about like how digital, hard drives, you store all that information, but you never really go back to it.
You never go back to it.
And that really is true. Like you have to make a concerted effort to go back to an old hard drive.
Yeah.
Because we live in a world of disposable updates. It's just it's all disposable, it's all updatable, whatever. And it's all great until you lose your hard drive. But I'll tell you, everything that I've ever printed off, everything that I've ever written on the typewriter,
you still have.
It's all still there.
You still have it.
It's all still
he says that. John Mayer says, like, it will always exist. I'll always have it. It'll always exist.
From lighting on fire.
You just have to keep it from lighting on fire.
And that's so true. You really do.
You
just have to keep it from lighting on fire. Yeah. And I thought about that as I looked down. I was watching that while I, was sitting at like the dinner table, and I looked down behind me, and there's like my boxes of books, of like the manuscripts. And I was like, yeah, that's right. As long as you don't lose it.
Manuscripts and journals and all that stuff, that handwritten, handcrafted.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is, by the way, before I put it away, it's called the portable typewriter because it had a small case about this high.
Oh, yeah.
About this high. Mm-hmm. This whole carriage folds over.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that.
It folds over and goes into the box like that.
Dude, that is like straight off the set of Dune.
Isn't that amazing?
That is so awesome.
Anyway, by the way, the serial number is etched. Where is it? Oh, hold on a second. I think it's on this side. The manufacturer, the guy who was working it, scratched the serial number in there. I'd have to take the actual carriage off. But they hand scratched the serial number underneath the carriage.
That's awesome. I can smell the gun oil. It's cool.
Well, I knew you'd recognize it.
Yeah, I know
you'd recognize it.
Yep. That's amazing. Go out and get an old typewriter. You'll dig it.
You got to get a typewriter, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And you don't have to wear an ascot.
No, you don't have to wear an ascot.
It's just for funsies.
I mean, it helps, but
I only wore that just because I like to make fun of.
We like to humiliate ourselves here on the Gosslings.
I thought it'd be fun to wear an ascot since I like to pretend I'm a pretentious writer.
Pretend? Yeah.
Well, or make fun of my pretension.
There we go.
I'm making fun of myself.
To mock our pretension.
And I think these folds, if I'm not mistaken,
they're almost like cummerbunds.
Yeah, the folds are supposed to go up so they catch.
Are these official ascots?
These are real ascots.
These are real ascots.
Yeah, I ordered these bad mama jammas on Amazon, and I'm gonna
can't believe he's my brother.
God
bless. Whatever. And I'm the one dying. I love it.
Had to do something. Dude, it's sick content. You gotta get some ascots.
Yeah, you gotta get some ascots. It's cool. People will dig it.
So anyway,
guarantee you that's going to be like one of our choices for the thumbnail. It's both of us with the ascots.
It's got to be.
Anyways, all right. So we took forever to do the typewriter one-offs.
Yep.
We do have questions, sort of like some author questions that we have. So we kind of fielded these, preloaded them. This is sort of like our attempt at just like talking about writing, I guess. Yeah. Talking about like the behind-the-scenes stuff of writing. Not that we are, any authority on the subject, but if you're like us, if you're looking to get into writing or if you're new to it or something, then we're pretty fresh off the boat.
Yeah, we're fresh off the boat, but we can at least share what we've learned over the first couple of years.
We're like the soldiers coming back from the first battle, being like, okay, like you got to have this.
Great analogy.
You don't need this. Yeah. Watch for this.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Take your bayonet. You don't need to worry about your extra whatever canteen because you're not going to use it.
Take a pencil, not a typewriter.
Yeah, take a pencil, not a typewriter. Yeah, don't follow Sergeant What's His Face. He'll get you killed.
Exactly.
So, anyways, so we have like a bunch of these questions, and we just figured we could go through like a couple of them a week. Depending on how much time we have. So, topic question number 1, Nick.
What life experience informed your writing most?
I watched you figure this one out about 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
And when I first read this question, because you sent these to me a while back, when I first read this question, I'm like, I couldn't really, I don't know, nothing didn't like zap me. I didn't get the question.
Yeah.
But I know what it is.
Yeah.
All my books are about reconciliation, about father culture, about the little guy triumphing, and when
we have a buggy.
We have a shield bug.
Oh, shield bug. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. But anyway, here's something that always goes through my mind when I'm starting a story. This is just one of the themes that is constantly recurring for me and that really inspires me.
Yeah.
When I was in second grade, I was actually going to public school. Hey, Shelby. And there was this sixth grader who was a bully, and he, me among many other kids. If you were in his way, it was your turn.
Yeah. There
was this other sixth grader who was a loner, and he hated this bully.
Really?
And stood up for me.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was running. I remember running from the bully. I was, and the bully was he was really fat.
Yeah.
And really slow.
But when you're little, fat kids can gain on you.
I didn't really understand that. I just, this guy was just always looking for trouble, and I kind of egged him on. I'll be honest.
Really?
He was, trying to dominate the playground. And so I basically, called him fat or something stupid and took off running. He started chasing me, and he would have never caught me.
Yeah.
But he never left me alone. He'd always try to bully me. Well, this other guy that I never even talked to.
Yeah.
Not really. This other sixth grader, he was tired of seeing this bully have his way with all the kids.
Oh, yeah.
And he was skinnier than the bully.
Yeah.
And he was shorter than the bully.
Yeah.
But he was a loner. He would sit out in the field, in the baseball field, which was adjacent to the playground. He would sit out there in the field by himself with his Walkman and his headphones and just listen to music by himself. Total loner, lone wolf, sheepdog, sheepdog guy. And I remember him. I remember when the bully set his eyes on me and decided he was going to pick on me. This kid, this loner, stepped between us.
No kidding.
And got into it with the bully.
He chose that moment.
Wow. And after that, the guy who stopped the bully didn't, we weren't like best friends or anything.
Yeah.
He went back out into the field and continued listening to music on his Walkman.
Really?
He was awesome. He was like Kevin Bacon, only as a sixth grader.
Yeah.
He's that type of 80s loner, but he stuck up for the little guy.
Yeah.
And then just went about his...
It's like an archangel descending to slay the demon.
A stoic sixth grader that just kind of knew he was there. A Ronin that no master, but he wasn't going to put up with
he lives by his own code.
He wasn't going to put up with kids getting bullied.
Maybe that was,
but he wasn't going to dominate the playground either. He just wasn't going to put up with it.
No, he wasn't. He was done. He was over it. You may have been visited by an adolescent Telemon.
Maybe it was Telemon.
It may have been Steven,
it was that guy.
It may have been Stephen Pressfield's Telemon character, but it is that archetype.
Yeah, I was always
so gunslinger Ronin loner with his own code.
I've always remembered that kid. I don't know his name.
Isn't that crazy?
I barely remember what he looks like. All I remember is that he, he just wanted to stick up for the little guy. Wanted to see the underdog win.
Yeah,
and so that theme is in like all my books. All of them.
Yeah.
The little guy coming out ahead.
Mm-hmm.
The little guy having someone
a benefactor,
someone stronger than them stepping in to help them along the way.
Yeah.
Someone who's that strong male character that shows compassion, applies compassion the way it needs to be applied.
Right.
Not an over application.
Right. Yep.
But applies it and helps the little guy.
Well, that's masculine compassion.
Yes.
It's a big brother thing.
It's a big brother thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of ties into father culture a little bit.
Absolutely.
But but basically I was the child and he was Mandalorian.
Right.
Only I was the child with like no powers. So
do you ever think about that as a dad? Are you ever like, man, I just know there's gonna come a day when I'm gonna be like on the playground yelling at a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Being like, I'll kill every one of you.
Just, like for my kids, if they ever get bullied, it's like, where's that guy going to be?
Yeah.
Because I can't be there.
Right. Yeah.
Or is my kid going to be that guy? That's what I want.
That's what, right. Yeah.
But I wasn't that guy, so I don't know how to raise that.
Right.
Yeah,
that is a...
But I want those people
to exist. Tough one. Yeah, because you have to have those people in life. Because there'll always be bullies. There'll always be... and there's a part of bullying that's good. Like we were talking about tribalism earlier and eccentricity. Honestly, one of the best things that happened to me was getting bullied when I got into normal school because it showed me, it gave me the mirrors that I needed to be like, oh, I should probably rein this in and stop doing this. And these freak flags I shouldn't let fly as high because I need to operate in a system of other people. And it's not all about me. Yeah.
The few times that I got bullied and I deserved it.
Yeah.
Which were most of them. Were times not because of how I was dressed or who I was hanging out with or anything like that. It's because I shot my mouth off.
Right. Yeah.
To someone bigger and stronger and much meaner than me.
Right. Yeah.
And those times I deserved it.
Yeah.
Those times I deserved it. Sometimes I didn't.
Yeah.
And those are different. That's a different situation.
It is.
But you're right. It's a mirror. You learn like when you go into adulthood, you have to mind the words you use.
Yeah, you really do.
Adults.
Yeah.
Because what you say can impact and sometimes even determine someone else's behavior.
Oh, absolutely.
You or other people.
I've lost opportunities because I stuck my foot in my mouth. Absolutely. And I can think of 2 or 3 specifically that I will never be able to market my books through because I shot my mouth. I overstepped my bounds, a little bit and got a little too crazy, but that's hopefully the kind of things that you learn growing up. That's why they're the formative years. And having some sort of protector like that who will step in when you deserve it. There are times where you deserve to get punched in the face.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
There are times where we are such a soft society that
when you are not with your parents, and they're not there to
all bets
make
are off,
that
baby.
Immediate correction.
Yeah, somebody will.
And you do the thing, and you reap the you play the stupid game,
you win stupid prizes.
Win the stupid prize.
Yep, ding 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 ding.
That's how you learn.
You get your bell rung.
That's how you learn.
That chicken dinner, baby.
It's like with self-publishing a book.
Yeah,
you write it, you publish it.
Yeah,
and you get a bad review.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, they're a bully. Well, are they?
Yeah, are they, or did you screw up?
Or maybe you can do something a little better next time.
Right, maybe you can improve. Yeah. There's a real part of that, and that's hard. That's one of the things that Jerry Jenkins told me in our exchange that was beneficial. He's like, and Stephen Pressfield echoes that too, is have thick skin.
Yeah.
As a writer, you got to grow thick skin, and you really do. You want to have thick skin because not everybody who says everything is going to matter, but there's going to be somebody who's going to have a point, who's going to get past your defenses and is going to reveal a weakness. So
Adam says, talking about his kids, Philip is 4 inches taller than his sister, who is 2 years older. Whoa, big kid.
Yeah.
When he started going to her school, she was being picked on, and he marched up to them and told them she is his sister and leave her alone.
Yeah.
That's my man. I love it.
Go
Philip. That's
absolutely.
So cool.
Kudos to Philip. And kudos to you, Adam, and your wife for raising him right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I had that moment with
awesome.
with this kid, Shane, I think was his name, when I was in high school. Apparently, like there was like an after-school care, and he was picking on Cameron, our youngest brother. And Cameron was he was probably like 10 or 11 at the time. He's 7 years younger than me. And I remember I found Shane and Shane and I were on good terms. We were not enemies. He's like most kids, who are sophomores in high school, just bored targets of opportunity. There wasn't anything wrong with Cameron. He just found a way to pick on somebody, and he just did. But it just so happened that it was my brother.
Whoops.
Yeah, and Shane wasn't a big guy by any stretch. He was actually kind of small, but he was wiry, and I knew he could fight. But I found him one day, man. I found him like in the hallway when it was just me and him in our tiny little Christian school. And I pulled a Philip. Yeah, I threw him up against that locker, and I was like, "I'll kill you if you're."
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's your brother. Like you got to defend your brother.
Yeah.
Unless your brother's just a total jerk and asks for it. But
yeah.
Actually, and you know what? For a good example of how that's handled, the movie Romeo Must Die with Aaliyah and Jet Li and Russell Wong. Watch the movie because that's a classic example of a big brother trying to protect a little brother who maybe doesn't deserve it. Now, in my case, Cameron did deserve it. He deserved to be protected.
Yeah.
But if you want a good example of trying to figure out how to navigate that, Romeo Must Die.
Romeo Must Die. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Not a really great movie from the 90s or maybe 2000, but it's got Aaliyah in it, and everybody should see that because Aaliyah was the most beautiful woman who's ever existed. It's her and Rona Mitra.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, what about? Your most your moment, what life experience informed your writing most?
I think probably Carla, rejection. I think rejection by another human being protracted over 10 years, which shows you champion of lost causes and hopeless battles, and also B, massive time waster, but also all the questions that come up from that. In fact, Sturm and Drang, which Adam just finished, really is honestly, I'm trying to find this picture. I'm trying to find this picture of that would help him, or that would be like a real revelation for him. It's buried somewhere in our photo albums. But I did find some pictures of like Melfax and Ural, which is like
cool.
Hayward and Dad.
Yeah.
But anyways, Sturm and Drang basically is just the story of my relationship with Carla, my friendship with Carla, and ultimately my rejection with Carla.
I gotcha.
And that informed so much of the writing, even on the back end, even when I didn't realize it, like with Empyrean Falling. I was always in my head. It's like you want to be the idealized version of you is Michael because he's the good guy.
Yeah.
But I knew deep down inside Lucifer was really who I was in all of his doubts and pathologies, in all of his worries. And so like a lot of my contention and confusion with God and why things weren't working out and dealing with that morass and that cauldron of rejection at that time in high school, and then later on, a few years later, because it stretched out over a long period of time. But a lot of that was rooted in what I knew in my bones to be my rejection by this girl, who, much like Uriel treats Ulrich, is, so far beyond any of the other girls I'd ever known. So that that really did leave an impact that really drove me into some dark places that I allowed it to, probably because of my isolationist lifestyle. in some pretty dumb ways. But the flip side of that is like a real beauty from ashes thing, because like as stupid as that was on my part for a multitude of reasons, if I didn't have that experience, I may not have had the Heavenly Realms series at all. That's how,
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like that's how God works.
Yeah.
Even though Empyrean Falling is a story about brothers and about the fractured nature of brothers, which I was experiencing at the time with a couple of buddies of mine, who, I was kind of on the outs with. Really, I could have weathered that just fine without it really sticking. What really wounded me more than anything was the soft, non-committal rejection of Carla.
Ugh.
Of the first girl I'd ever loved, because we were still friends, but she didn't want to date. She just wanted to like wake up one day and realize she was in love with her best friend. So like that puts you in this weird place of like the friend zone didn't exist back then, as far as a meme or a concept.
Yeah.
No one conceptualized the friend zone back when I was in high school, but that's what had happened. I've been friend zoned by this girl who didn't date. So it was like, well, there's no, it's not like a clear rejection of a girl in school who does date and has had boyfriends, but she tells you, oh, I just want to be friends. This was a weird situation that was so destructive because it said, well, I just want to be friends, but I'm going to keep you on the hook by saying I just want to marry my best friend one day.
Yeah,
so that tells you that that's the avenue that you should try and pursue.
Yeah.
Even though you have these ulterior motives, And it's like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that when you're 17?
Yeah.
So it messed me up. It messed me up in a lot of ways, created a lot of arrested development, especially relationally. But without that, I wouldn't have had the saga of Grey Aegis. Grey Aegis is a metaphor for my relationship, except the roles are sort of switched where I'm Ulrich letting go of the Book of Razia. So that saga, that depression, that grief, that rejection that stretched over all those years really did inform the writing in so many ways, especially when it came time to in the vein of like questioning God and like questioning God's benevolence. It's like, I don't doubt that you're real, but like, why aren't you answering my prayers? Why aren't you helping me? And then you self-reflect that back onto yourself of like, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? You know? And there were some great things that came out of it. I mean, Sturm and Drang, I wrote the first draft of that 350 pages during the season of Lent.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, an entire 350 page manuscript during like a little over a month.
Yeah, 40 days.
Yeah. That's you get
crazy.
You get like one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a writer.
Yeah.
So
that's I mean, well, that's monster production, but
it was a lot. I mean,
that speaks to how much it was just like flowing through you.
Yeah.
During the season of Lent.
Yeah. It was.
When it strikes you, it's just like,
oh, dude,
you just have to get it on the page.
That's
awesome.
It comes just bursting out.
That's so great.
Yeah. That was 2007. That was like the most depressed I was. So it's interesting how God works like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I have to chalk that up to God, but anyways. So
let's go on to question 2.
Question 2, so we can be less depressed.
We got like 1 minute till we hit the 2-hour mark. I'll go first.
Yeah.
What are the themes that inspire your writing? That's easy. Forgiveness, reconciliation, father culture, sticking up for the little guy, and character, doing the right thing no matter what, and it will pay off.
Will pay off. Yeah.
Those are the things that, doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing. Yeah. I think me too. Yeah. Honor, leadership. I'm obsessed with leadership. I love learning about leadership because leadership ultimately is sacrifice more than anything else.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a great phrase. There's some YouTube video. I can't remember what it's called or who made it, but it may just be called "Alphas Eat First, Leaders Eat Last." And in fact, in my first video for this channel, I read the section from Gates of Fire where Leonidas talks to King Xerxes about leadership. Or actually, I take that back. I think it's the narrator explaining to King Xerxes what a leader is and juxtaposing Xerxes with Leonidas. So, and Leonidas obviously is the first to pick up a stone and the last to set it down. You know, the last to eat, the last to go to bed. You know, takes care of his men.
Yeah.
You know, because that builds trust and consistency over time, and its respect. And I think that's, you know, it's very important.
Cool.
I love leadership, honor, sacrifice, doing the right thing. So much of the books really was a big part of like doing the right thing when it looks like it's going to fail. I mean, Michael's whole fight at the climax of Empyrean falling is all about just like doing something in the face of total loss, you know, because of the right thing. But anyways, what does Adam say here?
Adam says, boss directs and tells, and a leader shows and takes people with him.
Yeah, gosh, that's so true, man.
It's like leading from the front.
Yeah, leading from the front. That's Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
Virtues of War by Stephen Pressfield talks a lot about that, about how at one point all the Macedonians wanted to go home. The entire army wanted to go home. They were sick of it. And Alexander harangued them and chastised them by stripping down and saying, you know, look at all these scars on my front. Any one of you who has more scars than me, if you want to go home, we'll go home. You know, come step forth, he who has more scars than me. You know, and it is that, will you follow me into the breach? Will you follow me into the jaws of hell? Well, why would anybody do that? You know, why, except you've proven that you're there to take care of them. You know,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's true, man. And you know, there is something about I will say this, like, not all managers are leaders, not all bosses are leaders. I will say the bosses that I've respected the most over the years have, and Jordan Peterson talks about this, trained their employees in a way that if the boss is not there, everybody can operate just fine.
Yeah.
That the manager renders himself largely superfluous. And that's a big thing. That's really important because you want to empower your people.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to hold. I've worked in jobs where like the people in charge wouldn't let you do certain things because they didn't trust you and because they wanted to hold on to their power.
Yeah.
And that is a system that will fail at some point. Because when that guy is sick with the flu, who can do that thing? Nobody can do that thing. So now the business starts to fall apart.
Yeah.
And customers are unhappy.
Yep.
So anyways.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's good.
Let's see. You could do the depth of your experience in those. Oh, good. You know, I'm glad. I've been meaning to ask Adam what you really thought of like Sturm and Drang and Grey Aegis, because those two really do cover that saga. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you liked and didn't like about it. But yeah, Sturm and Drang was an awesome book. Could really tell it came from an experience. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, man, we missed a bunch of cool Adam comments here. Rejection is hard to deal with, but is a great teacher and thing to grow from. Melfax in Europe. So yeah, I can't wait to get your hands on the next book, Adam, because you're gonna love Wayfarers, man. Wayfarers is just like all Melfax and Ural. It's just, you know, it's just them being awesome. So 9 years old and already wearing child t-shirts for 16-year-olds. Yeah, dude, you got a giant on your hands. That's awesome. Yeah, your kid's gonna be killer, man. It's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
But yeah, it is a good teacher. You know, rejection, and Jordan Peterson talks about that. Rejection is such a good teacher and that's why men are so intimidated by women. We're so intimidated by the eyes of Mother Nature, by the eyes of nature that might reject us. That's why we don't go up and we don't talk to women. We don't talk to girls because we're afraid of rejection. But it's like rejection is the best thing because, I mean, it's not the best thing, but it is a really good thing in a way because it tells you what you're doing wrong. Tells you maybe what you need to fix, or it maybe tells you that you're not doing anything wrong, that maybe you're fishing in the wrong sea. You know? Yep. Maybe you shouldn't be going to bars. Maybe you should be going to churches.
Yeah. Ouch! Bam!
Whack! Uh-oh. Take that with your Wing Chun. So, anyways, all right, we're up on 2 hours. Yep. We're probably gonna kill this thing.
Yeah, and the battery. We got a friend to meet in about 15 minutes.
Oh, we do.
The restaurant.
Yeah, we do. We got a jet. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we'll wrap this up. Adam, tacos. You guys are awesome. John, I know you were watching. David and Jason, you may have been watching. I don't know. But what else? Let's see. Do we have anything else we need to wrap up here real quick?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think
so.
We all
done?
We're good, yeah.
Okay,
we got cool. Covered it all.
Awesome. We did it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Happy spring.
I'm Jonathan.
Nick.
We're the Gosslings. And you guys have a really blessed week. Love you all. Thank you for watching. Nick has books on Amazon. Just look up Nick Goss, The Travelers League. He also runs the Facebook page Fringe Mythology.
Yep.
Adam Burrell is our narrator on Audible. He does all the Heavenly Realms books. He does a lot of the Travelers League's books. You can find him on IXX, Audible, and on Instagram. You can find me on Author J Goss Instagram. You can find Mr. Adam Burrell on Instagram. Nick is the Travelers League, I believe.
And Nick Goss writes on Instagram.
And Nick Goss writes. Nick also has his own YouTube channel, the Travelers League, which he does with his kids, which is really cute.
Tons of fun.
Lots of fun. And so man, thank you, everybody. Tacos. I don't know where you're at, buddy, but you better get in touch with us. Like,
bring the swag, bro.
We're all about whatever you have to offer, baby. I'm all about it. Like, let's get this ball rolling. I'm in. Adam, love you, buddy. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Love having you around. John, thank you for watching. Anything else that we're missing?
No, I don't think so.
No? All right.
We're good.
We're gonna go get Mexican food.
See you guys.
It's gonna be